This is the Violent Professional Podcast.
Well, he didn't say that. You know why they canceled him? Is because he said we should go DEFCON 3 on the Jews.
What does that even mean?
It doesn't mean anything.
Fuck
There's
is
no
it?
such thing as DEFCON 3. There's DEFCON. It's a defense thing.
Yeah, but if they...
But he said the word death and Jews in the same sentence, so that's why they're canceling him.
But what is DEFCON... Even if he said DEFCON 3, what does that even mean?
It doesn't mean anything.
It's nonsense.
It is.
How have you held up not podcasting?
I yearn for it in my soul
Yeah.
from the deep.
We've been doing something else, though.
Yeah, we talked about it the last time we podcasted, really.
Yeah. We're going to talk about it again, but at the end.
Nice.
I do have a question for you.
Ooh.
And I'm going off an outline this time so that I'm kind of more focused than I normally am. And I'm going to try not to fuck with the microphone. I have a tendency to do that, just like shift it around and stuff. But have you ever tried to control, alt, delete anything you're doing? Like if you're because you don't fuck around with a laptop that much, right?
Oh, I'm on a laptop every day.
Okay. Have you ever done something? You're like, where's the fucking control, alt, delete?
Oh,
button?
yeah.
Yeah.
At work.
Or like I'll take a normal ass picture and I'll like fucking try to zoom in and shit. It's fucked up, dude. When's the last time that you recently did that?
Probably a couple weeks ago.
Okay. I did it today. That's
Yeah.
why it even came up in the subject. That's it. It's weird. It's a fucking, that's where we become integrated with technology so far that we are now doing things that computers do. And they're like,
Oh,
this,
yeah.
right? So I'm not sure if I know how to do this anymore. It's been so long. Like I can do voices and shit now. I know you can do.
I'm surprised you just didn't get into a voice.
Yeah. This is my business. Something like that.
Podcast.
Yeah. That's not even one of the voices I do. I was trying to do like a fucked up schmeagle. You don't even do a voice, right?
No,
you did the one, but it was a
Yeah.
little bit different than normal. It was like, where are you going?
Yeah.
Come back here. You're like a guard.
Who are you?
Yeah. And we're like, is this dude fucking serious? So I had, we've got a few things to talk about. I've got an outline here. And I wanted to talk about something that was a very positive aspect of my life before we get into some really dark, negative shit.
As we always do.
Yeah. So a good mix, of happiness and violence and death and destruction and all that stuff. Best episodes, are the ones that are weird. Some of the good ones are when I'm like eating shit out of a microwave when I'm super wasted, but I haven't been wasted that much lately.
Yeah, you could still make weird shit in the microwave.
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
Is that just when you're in the mood to do it?
Yeah, that's like when I'm doing filler episodes between like doing stuff with you or whoever. It's like I'll and if I'm bored or whatever and I have like an idea.
Nachos.
I gotta have ideas to do. Yeah, I gotta have ideas to do an episode, like even by myself. Like,
Yeah.
And I think that's where it needs to go if we're continuing on with this. Like even my fucking hand, dude. Like there's no difference in the sound. I just move it around obsessively. I have analyzed what we've done in the podcast so far, like what people like. I can look at the insights. Mainly people just listen to the podcast just to fucking kill some brain cells or something like that, because it's like I looked at the insights.
That's what we're good at.
Yeah. Before I dropped that preview for Mega Cosmic Adventure yesterday, I'm moving it because it's uncomfortable. Before I dropped that preview, I looked at the insights. I was like, holy fuck, there's still a bunch of people like all over the world still listening to this podcast, and I don't understand it. Like, I don't understand why. Like, there's no new episodes. Why are people listening to it? And it just means that more people are finding out about it, like by osmosis or some shit.
Yeah.
So it stays like when we stopped doing it was 3 months since the last episode, right? And so this is the most recent episode we're doing. This is 104, I believe. But we've been doing that project.
Yeah.
But like for some reason people keep finding out about it. And it's not from social media. I'll tell you this much. Like nobody's seeing the social media posts. I'm pretty sure that they haven't just shadow banned me. They've just fucking blocked me out of everybody's perspective.
Dude,
like,
that's
shot.
That's
like,
my page. But it's crazier
crazy,
because
dude.
yours has like over 40,000. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
Whereas
I've got
mine
multiple
has
pages.
like 1,500.
Yeah.
And then when it happened to mine, it was like they completely deleted me, and then they brought me back, and now I'm just. They keep giving me these things.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
you're banned for another 90 days. You're banned for another 90 days. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, dude.
But for you, it's like they're not saying shit. They're just limiting
Yeah, and I don't
the
even
exposure.
post anything controversial.
No.
I post clips from I made it purposeful that I wasn't going to talk. I have some from like the original Aries page that's like the political stuff, but I don't even do that. Like whenever I make content for the podcast, it's podcast related. There's nothing that's like, the only political thing I would say is like the Gary Tugboat Johnson thing, or like Trump using which is probably just fucking flagged the episode by saying his name, but it was the Dudes on Vacation song, because it was like in the middle of like me making all those videos and stuff like that, like green screen and like the Dudes on Vacation song and all that stuff. And I just would kind of cycle around the stuff I've talked about or post or social media things. And I've like floated it into videos, you know, like there's that video of Dogecoin where I hang myself doing cocaine and it's just flour, you know what I mean? It's not real cocaine. Wink. But it's like there's nothing I do on there controversial. So like, what is the fuck? And it's not like I don't, you know, I've talked about social media a lot. We all have, but it's not like content that is like out of how many people cross social media, 100 some odd thousand people across the fucking network. It's out of those people. I think I would at least sometimes get 10 people fucking viewing it, but there's like sometimes like yesterday where I posted something, it's like 0 fucking people saw it for hours. And I'm like I get it. Everything's changing with it, but it's like, I don't really give a fuck about likes or comments, but it definitely is like a fucking marker of if people see your shit.
What's crazy is it's not like an attack on anybody either, right? So they're not looking at your page and saying like, oh, fuck this guy, we're going to limit his exposure. It's more like it's a computer algorithm. It just randomly just takes this big clump of pages and it's like, all right, we're not going to let anybody see that shit today.
Yeah, maybe it's a perceived fucking political persuasion, which I tried to get away from because I'm not even like a fucking either side, right? Like I've explained this whole bunch. I have my leanings, but it's like I'm not doing anything that I feel would warrant. So maybe it's like somebody that doesn't like it is reporting it or whatever, and that will affect it too. Yeah. But dude, I've had posts, and you probably have too, from 3 fucking years ago.
Oh,
where they're like, you're fucking.
We've reviewed this, and now we're moving it. I'm like, okay, cool. It's a story I posted like a year and a half ago that nobody can see anyways, and they just decide, yeah, we're gonna delete this one because it goes against our community guidelines. Yeah. I'm like, didn't a year and a half ago, like when everybody saw it that time? Yeah.
So then the question is like, how I saw this video of this guy, and he's like, he was on somebody's. He's like a bodybuilder dude, and I think it's the one that was like, he had the Liver King on, and he was like, why don't you fucking just tell people you do steroids? And that's the one you guys sent where he's like, he fucking sort of admits it, but doesn't even say it. He's just like, I don't want people to think, you know, like, and he had something where he had this guy on that was like, he's a super controversial, like, YouTube dude, and he just says shit to people in public to fucking really, like, twist their mind up at shit. And it's not political based. It's just like, just to say shit to people, to have reaction videos for people in the public. And the guy asked a question. He's like, are you afraid of getting canceled with like your millions of followers? And you do this shock videos to like freak people out so that you have reactions. He's like, are you afraid of the one day where like you say something that wasn't like 10 years prior, wasn't fucking bad, and then all of a sudden it's like they pull up some shit from fucking years ago that you said, and then now you can't make money or pay for, you know what I mean? So anyway, I just still don't fucking get it.
And we won't understand it, dude. What's interesting about like the whole social media thing now is that now there's a private owner of a social media company that can actually expose all that algorithm stuff if he so chooses. But you know, it'll be interesting to see where that goes.
I feel like it's going to be the information that, because if it comes out, it'll be either like detrimental to the previous people, or like in some way he'll be like, oh fuck, I can't be tied into this shit because now I'm the owner of this company, and maybe it was set up. Who knows? You know, I didn't really think about that, but what if they set some shit up so that he takes a fall later and stuff, you know?
So that's why I think he locked out all the engineers.
Yeah,
It's just like, they're not going to have access to shit.
Yeah,
it'll be my people having access to it, because he doesn't want to get framed.
Much like the aliens videos that are leaked, it's like, oh, okay, well, no, there's no information.
Yeah,
it's gonna be like that, because I can't see how, like, with someone with how they can't continue along the same lines and not have like legal issues with people saying stuff that goes against the fucking violation of the First Amendment.
Yep.
Which is like the protection from the government.
Mm-hmm.
Which is another thing people don't understand about the free speech thing. It's not like, you know,
it's not protection of you saying hateful things to me.
It's
the protection
protect you from
of my speech being
limited from the government. Yeah. So anyway, not to get all negative on social media, I was going to talk about positivity today.
Positivity.
I had an awesome weekend, and I'm not going to get into exactly who I was doing this for or whatever, because it is what it is. It doesn't matter. But I had an opportunity to go jump out of a plane for a music video for a pretty famous individual.
Was it a plane?
Helicopter. Yes. Well, you know, it's jumping through the sky like a bird.
You jumped out of something that was in the air.
And unlike birds, I am real.
Oh.
But we'll get into that later. I had an opportunity to jump out of a vehicle, a space vehicle, for a relatively famous individual that sings music, and he is on tour right now. And I'll get into it in another future episode because I'm sure that I'm going to be posting about it. But it was awesome. I was given the call, and I knew about it 3 months ago, but I didn't bring it up because I was like, yeah, this is not going to happen. Like, I just expected that it would happen. Then all of a sudden, like 2 weeks ago or whatever the fuck it was, they're like, yeah, it's happening. Buy your tickets to Nashville. And so I went out there and was put up in a hotel. And then the next day I met this person, and we did hanging out all day, did a jump out of a helicopter, and really enjoyed my time. And surprisingly enough, I didn't think that it was going to be anything like too impactful. I just thought like, hey, I'm going to meet this person that does this, that is a musician, and we're going to hang out, do the jump. And to be honest, I didn't even know if he would be there at all. I just and then I was told the day before, here's the outline, here's your timeline, this is where you have to be, and this is how we're going to go. So I ended up taking his van that they had. We were all in there and met his managers, his producers.
Tell you to take your pants off.
Yeah, he did actually. So met the dude at his hotel, and then we drove up to the place where he did the jump and just hung out with him all day, and was like, kind of, you know, like you're stuck with the people that you're usually with, like your echo chamber or whatever, or like our friend group or something like that. And it's like, you don't like get the perspective of other people and like positive, negative, or otherwise. What are you fucking professional? What the fuck's going on?
Sorry.
And it's just interesting to see, like, you know, I can, without thinking about it, I know how everybody generally is, what their perspectives are on things. Just like I know generally what your perspective is going to be, David's, you know what mine's going to be. And I try to like fuck around a lot and make people guess a lot, but I didn't have any expectations going into this. For one, that I was going to meet this person, and I wasn't like, it's not like music that I normally listen to. So I wasn't like really like, oh my God, I get to meet this person, right? So I went into it with limited expectations other than I'm jumping out of a plane and hopefully gravity works. Still, like it always has, right? And hung out with these people all day, took some knowledge from them on like how they work, and I asked them a bunch of questions during the day. I talked to the dude about like his life, and very nice individual, like, and he's super positive dude to where, it kind of influenced me in a way to where I was like, man, it's like this person's gone so far in life just being, and it's not bullshit either. Like you think like, you know, you hear celebrities are a certain way or whatever, and then you meet them and they're like, you know, kind of like I have been on Aries when I was doing all that fucking angry shit that I did for like marketing or whatever, and ridiculous videos where I'm running through the woods with Hawaiian shirts and stuff like that. And it's a different thing and a different level, obviously, but you know, he's like, the person is a genuinely positive, upbeat fucking dude. And, you know, coming from my life, I don't fucking get it. Like, I don't, and maybe it has to do with, I don't know, anything that his life is upbringing, whatever. But it just kind of like rubbed off on me to where like, first we had a great day. It was cool to meet somebody that has in an industry where like, you barely meet these people ever, and especially one-on-one situation, but it's like interesting to meet somebody that has come from the bottom and then worked his way through an industry which is as competitive as that one.
Yeah.
And then get signed, and then he's like literally at like the fucking a top position doing like features on big name records with people that are like fucking super famous.
Yeah.
And he's an up and comer, and he's been doing this for like a certain amount of time. But it's interesting, and it's fast too, like how it happened, and like hearing how it exactly happened. But it's just interesting to see people like that are like so fucking different than you would expect. And you don't normally, especially here in Washington, you don't normally run into people that are like super upbeat and whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like, that was like an impressive thing to be like, this dude just fucking loves life. He's like super stoked on things. Like I didn't expect that he would be like, this is fucking awesome that you're doing. But he was like just impressed, asking a bunch of questions. And I'm really excited to see what happens when they put this music video out, because it's going to be a music video for his end of tour. They make it seem like he's doing the jump, but it's me, and that's where the take your pants off part came, because I had to wear his clothes, and that was a weird thing, but it looked like wearing my dad's clothes, like just walking around. But it was cool, man. And then later I hung out with the managers and his like, not his record label, but they represent him to the record label. So I've heard like all, they brought me out, and like we hung out all night. I got to meet his band out at the fucking at another bar. It was cool to like see. They're not even from America; they're from South America.
Damn.
And so it was like cool talking to them. They were interested in like skydiving. Like, oh my god, you did that! And like everybody I met was like, holy fuck, that's awesome! You did that. That's crazy. And because like apparently like nobody's done this since like Van Halen.
Wow.
So it was like the guy that came up with it was like taking that. It was all the label and shit that was like, hey, put on his clothes and like do this. But I was game because I love jumping, and it was just like whatever. But it was cool to see, like, hear how the industry actually works, because I never think about it. I'm not like in that world, and I never think about like how these things work. You have I think everybody has like an idea of like what any like movies or music or whatever could be like, and then just seeing how it is in person from the people that are at the top of this fucking thing, I was like, and that they were like very open to tell me about like everything they got going on, like how it works, and they were like excited to tell me about it. I'm like,
well, what's crazy is they probably don't have anybody ask them.
Yeah.
You know, it's more like, hey, how can you help me to meet that person?
Yeah.
Instead of, hey, what makes this whole thing work?
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know? What makes it tick?
I went into
Pick
it.
their brain.
I went into it with that kind of thing in mind. Like I was just asking questions about it, and I didn't try to push my shit at all. I did bring up the Mega Cosmic Adventure podcast, but it was just, I didn't say it. I was just like, we were talking about microphones or something like that. Sometime I was like, yeah, I know how that goes, because I do voices for this fucking thing. I didn't even say the podcast because I didn't want to like go like, hey, check out my stuff. Like this is, it's such
Check
a
out my mixtape.
Yeah, it's such a weird thing, because like I talk to him and stuff still, and whatever. It is such a different level to see somebody at that fucking. I'm not like, by the way, I'm not like, oh my god, I'm groveling. I'm just like talking about the experience of it, right? So
yeah,
it's just interesting to see like social media specifically, all these people who aren't famous and act like they are, and like influencers and all this stuff, how they think they're so fucking cool that they just like put on this whole fucking display like I'm the shit. All these people at the fucking gym and stuff putting on this fucking front of like, I'm the coolest motherfucker out here, right? And you're not. Like when you meet somebody at that fucking level, it's like, well, you're not really that cool as this fucking group of individuals. Not even the fucking artist. It's like the fucking group. It's like, these are fucking really good, cool people. And it's like, it kind of like, coming back from that, I was like thinking about a lot of things. And I'm laughing at like social media. David sends us pictures of fucking influencers like with 30,000 followers. Like even my fucking, 40 some odd, whatever the fuck it is. It's minuscule compared to some people. You know what I mean? And like their fucking exposure and what they do in their life. It's like, man, there's a lot of people that waste a lot of fucking time doing bullshit, to include myself, like with a lot of like just social media posts and stuff. And it's like, you have people that are positive individuals that really fucking put in work, and then they go somewhere and then there's a lot of people just fucking wasting time. I don't know.
What's crazy is that people live on social media, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
You get some of these influencers and bloggers and all that. They're like, my fans got to know what's going on with me every single minute of the day.
Yeah, but they're
right?
not real fans
So
either.
then they
Like,
go to a place that they're visiting on vacation, but they're still looking at this fucking tiny screen like in front of them so that their fans can see them in this place. So they're not even enjoying the place. They're just enjoying the exposure they're getting from
where'd that fucking
their,
dog come from?
their fans looking at them in the place,
Yeah.
Like, oh, they're going to think I'm so cool for being here on
Yeah,
this
yeah.
fucking beach with this fucking selfie stick sticking in the dirt, you
Yeah.
know? It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, dude. It's kind of eye opening, and I didn't think I would get anything from it, like I said. But what I realized coming out of that weekend, this past weekend, and seeing like the level that these people are at, it's not like super celebrity, but it's like this person's famous. He has he's on a major label. He's a singer, songwriter, producer, all that stuff, and he has a band.
Performer,
And,
yeah.
he's on tour, and I'm not going to focus on the individual. I just think like the experience and what I was listening to is what I'm focusing on. To see someone get to that level and kind of like glean knowledge on like what is the factor here that makes this a different situation? Because you could look at talent, you could look at the right place, right time. You could look at many things, but I think one of the things that I take from this is there is a lot of those other things like positivity, right place, right time, all that stuff. But I think really what is the hugest contributor to somebody, I think, at that level is, from what I saw, because I only have one instance of this and knowledge on this, is the people that you're involved with. Absolutely. And you hear it on motivational stuff all the time. Your group is like the thing that's going to fucking make or break you, right? And we were talking about this a little bit over the weekend, like I don't want to get into too many specifics on this, but you can have like a lot of people in your circle, right? You could have a big group or whatever and think that people are doing the right thing, but then I think at some, especially with larger groups, circle, a network or whatever, it's almost easier to identify where the limiting factors are. Like if you have a group of people and it's like, let's say 3 people, and you're relying on each other to do stuff, I think it's harder to see when people aren't actually helping than when you have a big group of people, and then you can observe.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
You can observe like literally who is fucking doing shit. And so one of the things that I saw this weekend was, specifically on social media, was like there's a few of us in this van, but the whole time there's like a social media think tank going on with people that are across the country doing all this shit, right? So they're all working together, and each person has their own duties and responsibilities, and they don't deviate from that, and they just have their fucking narrow goal, and they don't get it. Does they may be bored with it or whatever. I don't know what their fucking thoughts are, but it's like they don't kind of like, yeah, they help out on other projects and stuff like that, but the motivation is there because the end state isn't. It's not that I'm like observing this current moment and go, man, I'm so fucking bored, I'm not doing shit. Like, it's like we have a job to do, and it's to promote this person and put out this stuff so that people see it, and we have to do it in a very specific manner so that this person is successful, because if this is successful, then everybody's successful.
Trickle down effect.
And
yeah.
that, I think that's like the hardest thing that like we have tried to fucking push. It's like, yes, I understand that it's like there's no, like, we're volunteering our time, right? But it's like there is a end goal, but it's like people need to push, like they need to fucking help out with this, because it will go nowhere if people aren't taking initiative, doing their own stuff. And it's like, I heard this somewhere, but like you can't recruit doers. You know what I mean? It's like everybody's like, you need leaders and followers, but it's like you can't recruit fucking doers. Like it's hard to get people that are just like that can just do stuff. You know, like how many times have you seen me say like, hey, it'd be cool if this, and like I'm like,
Yeah.
it's like, or let me go back. People will say this would be cool if this fucking happened. It's like, take the fucking reins, man.
Yeah, it'd be cool if you fucking did something about what
like,
you're talking about.
It can't be two of us doing this shit the whole fucking time.
Yep.
I'm not saying that about anybody or anything specific. I'm just saying there, like, to use that as an example, there's very, like, it's a very different fucking world, and it is almost extremely clear what they were doing to get to this level.
It's not only in like a social life, it translates to work life too. Because I get the same thing in my workplace, you know, where I'm a doer.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'll get out and the people in my organization sometimes aren't. So there's leaders and followers.
Yeah, yeah.
And then nothing gets done. But you got to have self-starters. You got to have people that are able to take the reins and think for themselves and do for themselves to make the whole thing better. Because if you don't make the whole thing better, the whole thing's gonna fall.
What do you think that kind of mentality is with people that they get really motivated right away off the bat? Because I've talked to you about it. I have such a hard time figuring this piece out, because there is a period of time and it's replicated over the time that our nonprofit has been. It's been like repetitive. It's the same fucking thing. And I try to analyze it because I want to be a better like individual for the group, so that I can maybe get rid of this piece that's stopping people. What do you think is the contributing factor to people going like super fucking full bore and then they just go and they're like dead weight?
You know, I
feel bad. I'm not saying it about any particular, because there's going to be people that hear this from
that think
and I'm not. You got to understand. Like, I'm not saying, and I've had it about other shit too.
Yeah,
I talk about just general life on this podcast, as you know. Like, it could be nachos in a microwave or me going fucking crazy. Hubert Cumberdale, I got the glasses right here. But I've had people that I'm absolutely not fucking talking about. I'm just saying life things, kind of like a comic will say. A joke, and then if you go to a fucking comedy, you're like, "Is that about me?" It's like, what the fuck, dude? That's your own shit.
I don't even fucking know you.
So I'm saying this as a disclaimer for anybody that knows me that's listening to this. I'm not talking about you. You specifically, maybe somebody else. And if you have hard feelings with that, that's on you, bros.
Yeah.
Or hoes, whatever.
Yeah, I don't get the mentality. It's a weird. I think it's just general excitement. It's like this pump of adrenaline you get when something's new and fresh. But you expect somebody else to take the reins for it, you know, because your name's not associated with it. Your name's not on it, right?
I've always had this.
We have pride, right?
Yeah.
We have pride. We want something to succeed because we've been attached to it for so long. It's a part of us. You get somebody that comes in, they're not really attached to it as deep as we are.
Yeah.
And it's not because of a title. It's more along the lines of they're not tied to it. You know, there's nothing at stake. And when there's something at stake, you want something to succeed, obviously.
Yeah, yeah. That's where, like, I don't know. Not going to get in, again, not into specifics, but it's just something that I've always tried to figure out. And now I had the privilege of being a part of an organization, because I can say it, it's a business that they're doing.
Yeah.
To observe what happened to a group of individuals that are at the fucking top. It's almost like they can't believe it. Like, when we were standing there getting ready to do the jump, the dude that is the artist, we were standing next to each other. We were talking about our kids and stuff. Like, I was talking about Jax. He was talking about his daughter, and just life and stuff. And it's very similar to fucking normal ass. He's a normal ass person. It's just a different level. And we were talking about the jump and just, you know, my past and like how he got into stuff. We were just shooting the shit about stuff. And, it's almost like when we were doing the jump, that's what he was focused on. He's like, "Man, you got the coolest fucking job ever." And I was like, "I'm pretty sure you do, dude. Like, you went," and he's like, "No, man, this is fucking way cooler." And it was almost like he was in disbelief that this is actually happening. They all were, the whole because it was like just a shot in the dark to make it happen.
Yeah.
They thought it was impossible, but like, I do it all the time. I'm like, this is too fucking easy. I would pay to do this. Like, you don't have to pay for my, you know what I mean? Like, and it's building that network and figuring out how things work. But it's almost like they went so fast. And maybe I got this incorrect. I don't know. I'm just looking at this from outside perspective and fresh eyes on this stuff. But it's like they were just going through the motions of making this thing happen for this person. For the whole group, because it's like yes, this is the face of this organization and this band, but it's it's like they almost went so fast that they as a group were like, this is fucking unbelievable. And what I said to him, I was like, well, you're in that world. Like, this is the kind of stuff that I would assume happened. And he's like, yeah, but it's fucking nuts. Like, you're about to do this for this fucking video. And I was like, yeah, it's cool, man. Like, I was like, but this is cool that you guys set it up. So we're all like thanking each other, which is like, yeah, we all did this. Like, it's cool. But I don't know. It's what I think about this whole thing. It's like there is a difference in that. Just shut off. Whatever. I don't care. We gotta. Don't even put up YouTube videos. The camera just shut off for anybody that's listening. But there is something very different about a group of individuals that can take something as a concept and make it into like reality. This person just started writing songs and was good at it, and just they all pushed it together, and they made it to that level. It's fucking super impressive. Like, you know, the band and all,
man.
It's not my type of music. It's good, like it's really good music for like what it is, but I listened to it and I went to his concert and I was like, this is fucking rad, man. Like, just the fact that like to experience it from just meeting this person to hanging out with them all day, to see how they work as a fucking team and the motivation behind it and the positivity and all that shit. And then to see it be like, this is the culmination. This fucking thing is like screaming fans in this fucking venue. It's fucking nuts. And I'm just watching from the side, like drinking beers and shit. And I'm like, this is fucking, just this right here is like, this is what they set out to do, and they accomplished this goal. And it's like, who, you know, they're going on fucking, what is it? The New York show or whatever. Today, USA. Or
okay.
It's one of the morning shows or whatever. They're going on that. He's playing. He's done a whole bunch of TV and stuff like that. But it's just interesting to see like the difference in like groups that can like just be like, it's motivation and positivity. And it's like, there is a lot of those things that I'm like, that's where it goes. If you can have the right people and like it, and like everybody takes on a fucking a duty or a responsibility, and everybody pushes it up. Because if it was just this
probably
dude,
help each other too, right?
Yeah. And I'll say that because I'm saying this, like that dude alone would not probably be where he's at. It's the dudes and the women, the guys and girls all around him that are all working together to make this product for people.
Yeah.
Because it's more than just
they're creating a brand, not an individual. Yeah.
It's a lifestyle. It's all that stuff. It's they've created this product that they put out there. And yes, he is a person that goes out there and sings and fucking woo, and all the chicks love him and stuff like that. But it's like a group effort that really succeeded in the long run. And I think that's, if I'm getting my thoughts out correctly, it's like that's really the fucking difference, is like the right fucking people that are in certain positions to make a thing go. It's not like this podcast, I feel is successful because people listen to it, but it's not the fact of me just going in a room and fucking doing blah blah. It's like people like you, it's Peter, like all of us talking about shit, and like me taking that and then making graphics and all this marketing shit to where now it's like it's not just a thing where I, you know, like, yes, at the beginning I was like interviewing people, I had the idea, but it's like it's a completely different thing than when I started it, because of people like you. You know, like you have been on the podcast more than everybody, except me. But, you know, we've had Peter,
really
David. It's like all those interactions have pushed it to where like now I don't even need to put out an episode. Although I want to. It's not that I'm saying like that I don't want to put out episodes. It's like that. It's a group effort to make things happen. That's where like, I don't know. I'm just trying to get my thoughts out about like how things occur like that, and how I can be a better person from just this past weekend, and like an eye opener that it was. You know what I mean? I don't know.
It's that good energy, that positive energy. You know?
Yeah.
Whenever you have that negative energy, even if it's like a bigger group, one person can bring down the whole group. Or even if it's small group, it affects you more.
And we've seen that in the past. And this motherfucker keeps continuing to try to bring it. I don't know.
But I mean, bring that positive energy and that positive mindset. If something goes wrong, it goes wrong. It's out of your control. I mean, if it was in your control, learn from it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the only way we can be successful is to be positive and move forward. So
try to get better. Try to become better as human beings. I wonder if that camera's still going. It doesn't look like it though.
Yeah, who knows?
Oh well. Anyway, what are your 2 cents on that? Positivity?
positivity is.
We had somebody that was negative. That
key
son
to
of a
success.
bitch.
That son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch. Rhymes
we
with
all
David.
we all wish that we had things that we don't have, right? We all
Yeah.
wish we had more. We wish we were millionaires. Not all of us can be. It's hard to be, but we can control how we feel about our current situation. So that's my 2
I think,
cents.
you know, it like you're saying, people want certain things, but it's like putting in the work to get. And I don't think I think, you know, another thing I realized it's like people have money and it's like they still act like normal ass motherfuckers, and it's just like I've been around fucking millionaires before, right? Like really fucking high up, almost billionaires, and like through my work and stuff like that, and it's like they have the same fucking shit going on. I'm not saying this to say like, oh, well, the perspective that these people are fucking different. It's just like there is a difference in people that get to those certain levels and people that don't. And that was essentially that goal, right? Like, and so it makes me think about like, what are my goals in life? Even being 40 years old, like it's always a work in progress to figure out what the fuck I'm doing with myself. Like the creative side of, like coming up with like projects and shit like that, instead of focusing on like very specific things. You know, I've changed my business so fucking much because I became unhappy or whatever. I didn't sell my fucking gym. I just fucking sold the equipment. I'm like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
And it's a hard thing figuring out what you're going to do when you grow up. But I don't know. I took a lot from this weekend, and I was like, one of the big things is like positivity is like a fucking huge deal. And it's easy to get sucked into the whole like bullshit of life. And it's like, everybody's got that bullshit. I don't know. I'm not trying to turn this into a
everybody
motivational
does.
podcast, but
So here's an example, right? And not to bring this into light because it's all over the fucking news anyways.
yeah.
So Tom Brady and his wife, I can't even pronounce her, Butt Chin or whatever fuck her name is, right? So they're getting a divorce.
It's butt shit. I like that way better.
So they announced it this morning. You know how they announced it? They went on Instagram. Each of them went on Instagram and they put out a post, right? I don't follow either one of them, but this shit was
Cool.
on the news, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So one puts out a post, the other one puts out a post shortly after saying, "Oh, we are going forward with a divorce. It's a sad time. It's a hard thing for us to go
You're a
through.
football player.
But we hope for the best for the other person."
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Who fucking cares?
Yeah. Somebody does.
The problem is that people care.
Yeah.
Like I'm asking that question, who fucking cares? Because I don't fucking care. It's their personal life, but they have to announce that because if they didn't, the world would be going fucking nuts for no goddamn reason. And it doesn't bother. It's not part of their life. It's part of Tom Brady's life. It's part of Butt Chin's life and their kids. But it has nothing to do with you and me. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I never met the fucking guy. I'm not part of his circle. I'm not going to be knocking on his door tomorrow and offering my condolences for his marriage. You know,
Now, would you
he's-
say, let's
he's fucking
go into
Tom
something
Brady.
that's in you're not a football dude, right?
no, I used to be.
UFC, if there was somebody in there that was like married or whatever, would that affect you at all? If
No,
they were
not
like,
at all.
Yeah.
Not at
You'd be
all.
Like, what a pussy.
They get divorced. There's shit that happens all the time in the UFC. They're real people, like you're
Yeah.
saying. And some of them that I follow on Instagram, right, put real life shit in their feed. So they're not posting like they're going at the gym. A lot of them will. So they'll just post pictures of themselves and fighting and blah 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 at their gym. Oh, I'm at the gym again. It's like people are into that. Okay. But then I follow some that are just posting everyday shit, hanging out with my kids, going to the grocery store, doing random shit.
Who fucking
I'm
cares?
going hunting, which is cool because they built that social media as this is for me. It's not for my fighting.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
whatever. And people just like doing that.
Yeah.
It's like, dude's writing a fucking cookbook. He's a UFC fighter. He's like, here's my fucking cookbook, and it's cool.
I thought about writing a cookbook one time.
Yours is a little different than his. That's for sure.
I probably should do that.
You
at some
should.
point.
It'd be fucking hilarious.
I've got a bunch of books. I go
it's-
through the motions and I never put them out. I got like 3 books.
It's funny how invested people get into social constructs and social media and influencers. And like it or not, Tom Brady and his ex-wife now, or whatever,
Whatever the
they are
fuck they are.
influencers, right?
Yeah.
And they influence culture. They influence people a lot, which is fucking wild. How many people are going to go get divorced now because of those two? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, they're getting divorced? Fuck it. I'm done with you.
Yeah.
Just ruin everybody's lives.
It's fucking weird, dude.
What bothers me is that people needed to know that.
Yeah.
Like, who cares?
Yeah.
It's not even any of our fucking. It's between him and his family.
But then also on the side of who cares? But you care about them caring.
That's true.
It's weird.
That's a
It's
whole
weird
construct
dynamic.
in itself, right?
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with either. I'm just saying I'm pointing that out because I see it. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. Now I want to get into some other stuff. There's actually a lot of shit on this paper.
Yeah.
We've been talking for a while, and then whatever. We talked about this over the fucking, was it the weekend or last weekend? About bats and birds.
Oh man. So birds aren't real, right? That following.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
had a rally in New York, in some square. I don't remember what square.
Yeah.
I don't think it was Times Square. Obviously, it was some big area. They had a big rally, and they have such a following. You know, there's
Yeah.
even like some famous people that are in on it, and I say in on it not meaning like they're part of the group, but more like they're into the movement because it's a fun thing to do, right?
Yeah.
And birds aren't real. If you don't know what it is, go look it up.
I thought you were
It's-
going to pitch this like it was.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So birds aren't real. Okay. So
So continue on what you're saying.
I'll tell you what's not real following this. Okay. So there's a following for birds aren't real, and birds are drones, and that the government created all these birds. They got rid of all the live birds and have all the drone birds to surveil the American people and abroad, right? And that they have to change the batteries in birds. That's why there's mass migrations. They go to a
Yeah,
certain
yeah.
place and they get new batteries and whatnot. And
That's so awesome.
it's a fun thing, right? And you look at these rallies and there's people with signs and thousands
Yeah, yeah.
of people, and they're like recording these birds flying. They're like, "Fuck you, birds!" And they're just pissed off at the birds.
Do
But
they
they're
have
not
anybody
really
trying
pissed
to
off.
shoot the birds down?
So not that I've seen,
yeah.
but it's movements like that that are gonna have die-hard followers that are really into it and really believe the things that they hear. So they're gonna do something about it,
Yeah.
right? As the same with every conspiracy theory. You're going to get some diehard, some nut who's going to be like all about it, right? So birds aren't real being they'll call it a truth, or as we'll call it a conspiracy. And they call people bird truthers and things like that. And it's fucking wild, man.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is you can build some kind of theory like that out of any animal or anything, right? Bats aren't real, okay? Bats
You have to tell me why bats aren't real.
Bats aren't real
Prove it.
because they are night drones, okay?
Okay.
They all
So
come,
if birds
they all
aren't
come
real-
from a specific place, okay? If birds aren't real,
if
then
birds
bats
aren't real, bats aren't real. That's any flying sort of avian.
So
Would that
the-
go as far
the
as saying
birds-
geese aren't real?
Well, the birds operate under solar battery, right? Because
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
out during the day. The bats have to migrate in order to charge themselves, okay? So it's a different type of energy.
Maybe they use kinetic energy.
Maybe, but it's all based off of Tesla, by the way.
Yeah.
You know, not Tesla, the new Tesla. I'm talking about Nikola Tesla from back
Okay.
in the 1800s. So, he built an energy source that you could use. It's wireless all around the world. So these bats are in these caves, okay? And there's two things that the bats do. They night surveil, so they'll exit the caves in mass migrations, thousands, millions of bats everywhere, and they're able to night surveil. Okay.
Yes.
And then they also do like mapping. Okay, their echolocation is also mapping as they make the clicks and words and sounds. So they're bouncing that information back, receiving it, and then they go back.
So that would make sense for like satellites.
Yeah.
Aren't real,
Oh yeah, nothing's real.
but bats aren't
We're
real
living in a
either.
situation. So bats aren't real.
We were looking to the heavens.
So
We should have been looking.
aside
at night.
from the night surveillance and the echolocation GPS tracking coordinates, they also are a scapegoat for blocking restricted areas. Okay, so if you go to a cave system, right, and there's somebody there that says, "Oh, we can't go back into the latter half of this cave because there's 6 of these endangered bats that live back there, and they have white nose syndrome. We
what
can't.
the fuck is white nose syndrome?
It's some like it's like a powder on their nose, not cocaine. It's
Yeah.
more like a fungus.
Drugged out fake bats.
It's a fungus that grows on the nose of the bats.
Okay.
So that they they can pass it on. It's like a disease, and they can die from it. Okay.
Okay.
So if you say, oh, we don't want to give these bats white nose syndrome because we can track it on our shoes by walking into the cave, to me that sounds kind of like, it's very far fetched. Why are you blocking off this area? And you're saying it's because there's bats back there? What's really back there? You know, it's a scapegoat in my opinion. So bats aren't real. They're just used as scapegoats, GPS tracking device and mapping systems and night surveillance. Let's
Okay.
get that movement rolling.
Bats aren't real. Is there a bats aren't real
Nope.
Instagram page?
Nope.
Should start it.
I should.
Tell the world about the dangers of fake bats. Yeah. Anything could be fake.
Oh, anything.
You could be an android, dude. Or I could be
Wait, I
doing
am.
pointless podcasts.
Somebody's going to contact me and be like, how'd you know?
Dude, you have the secret information. You'll have to get on Telegram to get that,
Oh,
right?
shit.
I bet you there's some shit on there. Telegram.
There's got to be. Maybe not about
Telegram is not real. That has to be an exclusive CIA operative recruitment
bats.
tool.
It's funny how some of those conspiracies are so far out of left field. It's like too unbelievable.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And people are just like, nope, it's real. That's fucking true. They made a video about it.
Yeah.
You're like, what?
And if we're in the simulation, it could all be true for this simulation. Like, you could be like,
Yeah.
no, I saw him fucking eat babies at Dunkin' Donuts. It's like, man, when? There's a secret door back there. It's like, who's the fucking crazy one? The person that has schizophrenia that can tap into other dimensions, or us when we're sitting around all fucking doped up on caffeine and fucking painkillers walking around? You're fucking crazy. Birds are real. And like, this motherfucker is like hearing voices. Like, I was thinking about that the other day, actually. This is a weird thing. What if people with schizophrenia are just hearing voices from other fucking dimensions?
Oh, yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Telling them stuff.
Totally.
Like, they're like, oh, those are fucking angels. Or like, the fucking. What if all of this is fake?
Not to bring up like a different type of conspiracy theory, but Nikola Tesla,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
example, right? Bringing it back to him. One of the ways he said he gained his knowledge was from communication from other beings from
occult.
different worlds, right?
I did not know
Different-
this.
So yeah, he came out and said, and the dude
He
lived,
opened up a portal
so
or
listen
something?
to this. He lived until his late 80s.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe early 80s, I don't remember.
When did he die?
In the 1800s, I think, or early 1900s.
Probably about the time all the birds went away.
That's when the bats started coming out, right?
No, I ate them all.
Oh.
That's my favorite fucking line. Like,
No,
I've
I
added
ate
that.
them all.
Not to get into it, but like that fucking thing is like
That
my
shit is
favorite. I
funny.
was like, no, I ate them all because it was so fucking quick.
Yeah, it's witty.
Like, I was like, there's some of those that character does, and I'm just like, holy fuck. There's like 3 really like fucking fast, fire rocket fast fucking things that I say. I'm just
Yeah.
like, man, that was a perfect character. Anyway,
So what's
Continue
what's crazy about the Nikola Tesla thing that I'm talking about? How he gained his knowledge from these beings from other dimensions that
Yeah,
just
yeah.
communicate with him. Not that they came in physically and sat across the table from him and said, "Here's what you need to do." Is more like, "Here, we're going to input this data into your head, and now you can use that data and make something tangible out of it." He's not the only person that has said that. That's been a genius, right? And this goes into like the ancient aliens theory and all that kind of crazy shit that goes on.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
There's so many geniuses that have said, I have communication with something else that is helping me to retain this
Yeah,
knowledge
yeah.
and to tangibly create these things. And it's been like that throughout history, which is
Yeah.
wild.
That's crazy.
And then on the birds aren't real thing, to go back on that, China actually has bird surveillance drones.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I found an article about actual bird surveillance drones
Yeah,
that they
yeah.
use in their country. It doesn't look like an actual bird. It's kind of like you can
Far
tell
away,
it's a fucking
would it
drone.
look like it?
Far away, you'd be like, oh, it's a big fucking bird just flying over there, and it's really just surveilling their own people.
But up close, it looks like it's got propellers and shit, probably.
Well, yeah, it's got some kind
Does it
of
flap its wings?
I don't know. I didn't see it in
Okay.
action.
Yeah, that bird that I said was not real. Back on the trail, it's completely falling apart. After it started raining, it
Yeah.
was just like, oh, that thing's been fucking dead for a while. Dude.
It's just covered in those feathers that just
yeah,
keep
I
it,
don't think
it's waterproof.
anything fucked with that. Nobody ripped that thing up. It was just standing, like not standing there,
That'd been
standing there looking at me as I walked by. You're not real. No, but
starts talking.
for anybody
like,
listening,
I am real, Mike.
there was a bird that I like told these dudes about like fucking months ago or whatever, and I was like, there's a bird that I think is not real. Like, it's back there and it hasn't fucking fallen apart. And I'd go on like trips, come back a month later, I'm like, there's still that fucking bird. And then a month later, there's still that fucking bird. He looks exactly the same. And then it rained and you could see his whole fucking rib cage and shit like that. So I just think no animals fuck with it for whatever reason, which is weird. Like, no worms or anything got to it. It's just sitting there like all feathered up and shit, just all fucking sitting fat and sassy. Like, it just fucking died.
Yeah, you think some kind of feline or little mammal would have destroyed that thing,
Yeah.
taken it home. Unless it was diseased, then they wouldn't touch it. Animals are pretty smart about that too.
If it was
If
diseased,
there's a diseased carcass somewhere, they don't fucking touch it
maybe
at
it
all.
was.
That's very possible.
The dog, honestly, the dogs wouldn't even touch it. They'd look at it and like walk right by. So maybe it did.
Yeah.
Maybe it just was fucking disease ridden and fell out of the sky and fucking died right there.
It could be.
And even worms won't touch it.
Yeah, they're like, ugh, fuck this.
You know what else isn't real? The bad movie review. We haven't done one of
Oh,
those.
fuck.
I think the last one was it last
Was
October?
it Tusk?
Maybe
Was
Tusk.
that the last one?
That was the one.
It was
with,
either Tusk or
the
Rubber.
The walrus.
Yeah,
movie.
there's the tire,
Those-
the
those
killer
ones-
tire movie or Tusk.
I think those broke us. Like, we're just like, fuck, dude. Like,
Those,
Tusk,
I mean, those were definitely the best ones.
Tusk when he gets his fucking legs cut off and turned into a walrus. Come on, man. That was the fucking
the
end
end
all
of that
be all.
movie was so sad.
Yeah, it was like depressing. I'm like, God damn it, he wants to stay a walrus. Like, can't even do anything about it. It's supposed to be like a comedy also or some shit. Or like a silly. It was made by Silent Bob. What's his fucking name? I can't remember, but the dude that played Silent
yeah,
Bob.
I remember what you're talking about.
Yeah, they talk about it on a podcast.
And
You know.
they just make a story out
Yeah.
of it, yeah.
All right, so I gotta ask you a question. Have you ever heard of Reborn Dolls?
Reborn
Dolls.
No, enlighten me.
I will. That's gonna be the second one I talk
Sounds
about.
fucking creepy.
I don't know where I got these, but so I'm gonna claim that I didn't write these, so there's no plagiarism here. I don't know if that applies to spoken word, does it?
Not if
I
you
always
read
like to
something, you're
cite-
still citing your source.
I like to cite the source, but I took this and put it in Grammarly. I've been using that all the time for text
Nice.
messages and everything, and so like it reworded the whole thing, so it
Nice.
can't even be
Fucking
plagiarized.
wing
Right?
it.
That's a shout out to Grammarly. It's fucking dope. I can't even spell half the time, and this was like, did you mean big fat cock? I'm like, nah. Yes, I did. Sending a text to my grandmother. So I figured since it's Halloween in 2 days and this podcast episode won't be released till what I'm going to do Thursdays now, because I feel like Mondays is like everybody's fucking listening. So I'm going to pick like a random day.
That's good.
Thursday. Tune in Thursdays at fucking midnight for the newest episodes of the podcast whenever we release them. I'm also going to be better about like coming up with ideas and writing shit down, and then just like I did today, I was like, what am I
Having
going
an
to do?
actual
Fucking-
outline what we're going to talk
yeah,
about.
because it's cool. Like we can bounce off. We've been talking for a fucking hour right now. And
Yeah.
like, so it's Halloween in 2 days, right? 2 days, 29th, 30th, 31,
3 days. Yeah.
3 days. And I figure we talk about some creepy shit from the internet, as people love in podcasts. That camera's off, and I keep looking at it like it's a person. Anyway, have you ever heard of this dude named Stanislav I can't even say his Russian ass name. Stanislav Reshetnikov.
No.
Never?
Can't say I have.
Listen to this shit. In Moscow in the winter, a Russian YouTuber named, we'll say Slav or whatever.
Call him Stanny.
He's got an actual like YouTube name, but I deleted
okay.
it because I was like, I just want to say the dude's name. Stanislav. Focused mainly on gaming-based content. It's Stas. S-T-A-S. Stas also made some sketchy live streams, finding it challenging to compete in the genre. I'm going to say all this and we'll talk about it. Like you didn't know that. Stas had done a few weird streams, generating income by pepper spraying his girlfriend or forcing a friend to drink oil for donations.
That can be deadly.
Yes. On December 2nd of 2020, right in the middle of fucking COVID, things went a little too far on one of the streams. One viewer pledged $1,000 for Stas to beat his girlfriend, Valentina, and lock her outside in the cold. Stas did what he had been paid to do. He locked Valentina out in sub-zero temperatures, soaking wet. I don't know where the wet part
Holy
came in.
shit.
I thought he just beat her up.
It's probably raining outside.
Yeah. That might be it. And
Or
somewhat
she was just turned on from getting her ass.
soaking wet from some water he poured all over her.
Oh, there we go.
He proceeded to bang the door. She proceeded to bang the door frantically for 2 hours. The viewers kept donating. When Stas eventually pulled back into his pulled her back into his apartment. She was unconscious and had to turn bluish gray. Stas took Valentina and propped her up on his couch. He continued to stream and make money when he failed to revive her. Fucking crazy, right?
Yep.
This was supposed to be, I mean, I'm not trying to make any light on this, but I just wanted to bring up some creepy shit that's on the internet.
That is creepy.
The paramedics came after Stas eventually called for an ambulance. They asked the YouTuber to refrain from filming them. He refused, allowing the 1,500 or so viewers to continue to watch.
Holy shit.
What do you think about that?
That's...
There's the worst part on this.
God damn.
What do you think the worst part is? The guy and his girlfriend.
He did not go to jail for it.
Oh, no, he's awaiting trial right
okay.
now. He's still in jail, I think, in Russia.
Did he jerk off afterwards?
No.
Because that'd be pretty bad.
This is bad. This is really bad.
Did he fuck her?
Nope.
Okay.
She was pregnant
Oh, no.
while he did this. He's fucking piece of
Holy
shit. So we were talking about social media people, and it's like, this is what it does right there.
Yeah.
It's like crazy. I
That's
brought that up
crazy.
because it's like a creepy thing on the internet. I was like, that's pretty fucking vile. It's not
Yeah.
to disrespect anybody or anything.
It's
but
an
that's
interesting
fucking nuts.
story, but god damn, the people,
crazy, dude.
people are wild.
They do crazy shit like that for that thing I was talking about,
Well,
fame.
and then to
Like,
have
it's
that,
nuts.
and then to have that audacity and that mindset and that fetish of, hey, I'm gonna give you $1,000 to watch this shit go down.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
Sociopathic, dude. Like,
Yeah.
I look at wanting to be, because that's like an attempt. The guy's not doing it because he like has joy of doing YouTube. I think it's like he's trying to get to that next level of like being famous or whatever the fuck it is, getting money, make
Yeah.
money. And it's like, at what cost? It's like this fucking resulted in people's death. And for that fucking just intangible thing of fame, he wants fame in some way.
Yeah.
That's fucking nuts, dude.
Now he's famous.
Yeah. Famous. Okay, do you know what reborn dolls are?
No.
Do you want to look it up before on Google?
No, I just want to.
Okay.
Let's just get into this one.
What do you think they are?
It sounds like, so here's my where my mind's going. Okay, say your child passes away from something, and then somebody creates a lifelike doll to represent your child, and you just leave it in your fucking house to live there with you.
Yes, but here's the fucking kicker. They make it so the eyes follow you.
Oh
around that.
fuck me. Oh,
So I'll read what this is. Reborn
that's
dolls.
terrible.
When you're not sure about, why did this Grammarly fucked me over? Okay. Oh, we're not sure about you, but when, maybe it's not Grammarly, it's just that I can't read. I'm dyslexic. We're not sure about you, but when you find dolls to be inherently creepy toys for multiple reasons. For one, it's clearly an inanimate object made to resemble a real person, even if we know that it's not meant to be a real person. Much more importantly, there's something about their eyes that scares the creeps out of us, especially when they follow you around the room no matter where you go. All right. If you're not convinced by those arguments, we'd like you to check out a website called Reborn Baby Dolls. It's a horrific misjudgment of popular opinion on dolls. Someone called Deborah King figured that they need to be more human-like than they usually are. To that end, she takes regular dolls and rebuilds them to be more human-like with various homemade techniques and posts them there for appreciation. We want to clarify that none of these dolls are for sale or any monetary profit. She does it because she thinks other people would like looking at it.
That's fucking creepy.
You should look it up, dude.
Oh, I will.
What would you have stuffed? Like, let's say something died. What would be your favorite thing to stuff and like so it just watch you in your house? And you couldn't tell if it was real or not because it's like its eyes are following you.
I wouldn't do that to anything that I was attached to.
Bats, birds, and bats.
Well, those aren't real, so.
Yeah.
God damn, dude.
Would you get a pet stuff, like something that you really loved?
No.
What
I don't
about
think
a
I
loved
would.
one?
Absolutely.
Like, say your fiance, would you stuff her and like have her in the house if she
I
died?
do that anyways.
Yeah, I prefer that actually. I don't like human contact.
Oh man.
It's like Jeffrey Dahmer. I like them when they don't move. You know. That video of my dog's going pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it looked pretty good.
Yeah.
Styling. Dude,
No, I
those
was-
glasses, just as a disclaimer, you were wearing Hubert Cumberdale was wearing those glasses before Dahmer came out.
That's true. I have the yeah. I got those off the Walmart glasses rack at a local Walmart in Arkansas and introduced Hubert Cumberdale into the mix. So I wanted
That was like over a year ago.
yeah, I wanted to do like an intro like This is the Hubert Cumberdale Halloween special. My guest is American Mark here. How you doing, buddy? And then we can talk about bats because conspiracy theories
Yeah.
and shit. All right, the last bit. I have something else. We're gonna promote a project that we've been working on and not get into it too much, but I'm gonna talk about it. The last thing is I picked some other things that you could say to people or jokes that fucks with people. That I love to do so much. You know, you've heard me talk to David and just fuck with him until he like loses his shit.
Oh yeah.
You do it too. We all do it. I think that's the
Glad he
hallmark of a
doesn't-
good group of
Oh,
friends
yeah.
that can fuck with
Just
each other.
bust each other's balls.
Yeah.
I'm glad that he doesn't hate us for it.
Yeah, because
That'd
we
be
go
terrible.
hard at that dude. David, we love you. But this is shit to say to someone that can fuck with them. Some of these are better than others. I got about 8 of them or so. This is weird, creepy shit you could say, and because it's Halloween, I figure we could do creepy shit. And if you have any, throw them out there. But I literally copied and pasted these on a piece of paper. But so the first one is to say to somebody, say you're at a coffee shop and they're like, "How do you like your coffee?" And they say, "I like my coffee like I like my women, sealed in in an airtight bag in the freezer." That's a good one. This is almost as fun as watching you sleep. That's creepy. I couldn't find.
Well, you don't do that?
Yeah. It's like depending on what would be as fun. If you're like, well, like what would be a situation? You could be like at a funeral or something like that, or a wedding or something. Some of these are silly, but this one, I couldn't find any clean underwear this morning, so I had to borrow my grandmother's. That's stupid. I'd suck a fart out of your ass. That's a classic. This one I didn't understand, but you're so hot you melt the plastic in my underwear. That's weird, dude. Like there's a lot of underwear jokes. What kind of plastic is in it? It's like a chick with a fucking tampon in it or something. She didn't take out the tube.
Those are plastic?
The tampon, are they?
Fuck, I don't know. Yeah, I don't.
Hey, I don't put in
handle those
tampons.
often.
Okay. Yeah. You are so beautiful that I want to be reincarnated as your child so I can breastfeed until I'm 20. That's fucking
What
weird.
the fuck?
No, reminder. These are just fucking weird statements. I figured.
Can you
I'd throw in.
imagine there's like a 20-year-old just sucking the teat still of their mom?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
If you were dating a chick that was like, or, you know, you're in a relationship, but if you were like just seeing someone you were like super fucking into for years, and then you finally got a chance to fuck, if she was like lactating because she was, first off, there has to be a kid in that situation.
there has
so
to be, right?
would you suck the breast milk of this chick if she's like, this is the only way that you can fuck me if you drink my tit juice?
Absolutely not.
Would you drink her boy milk?
No.
Did you send that video?
Yeah.
The boy milk. What did so you said moth milk? You got a
Yeah,
bunch
the
of
moth
milk
milk one, yeah.
Oh, that's that
Oh.
Caleb dude, right?
Yeah,
It's like,
Caleb Francis. I think
God
his
makes boy milk. Wait. On a scale of 1 to 10, how comfortable are you with corpses?
It's an interesting question to
Yeah.
ask somebody.
I guess these are questions that are just things you say to people when you first met them. Like, I could have said that to the dude when I met him at the fucking singer. Be like, hey, dude, just out of curiosity.
Yeah, scale
out
of 1 to 10.
How comfortable?
What if he was like, oh, dude, 10, all the way there?
Dude, I got some in
Good.
the back, bro. Did you know that if you wake up between 1 and 4 for no reason, there's an 80% chance that someone was staring at you? It's a fact.
That's a fact?
No, I don't know.
I was going to say that's a very interesting fact because I do that all the time.
And to finish it out, what's the difference between a slice of pizza and a dead man?
What?
A slice of pizza can't feed a family of 4.
Ha
Nice, huh?
Good one.
Classic. Happy Halloween, everybody.
Speaking of Halloween, I'll throw some Halloween facts out there since we're throwing facts,
Do it.
okay? So, 67% of Americans plan to hand out candy to trick-or-treaters this year.
Yeah.
34% of parents think 13 or 14 is old enough to trick-or-treat alone. I think that's too old to fucking trick-or-treat, in my opinion.
Yeah.
13 and 14.
I can't see. My son is 11, and he's starting to lose interest already. He just wants the candy. He doesn't
Yeah,
give a fuck
yeah.
about the rest. I could
So,
just buy him a bag.
You could just
of candy.
go buy him a bag. Yeah.
He doesn't give a fuck. About it.
$3.1 billion spending on Halloween candy in 2022 for Americans. 3.6 billion spent on costumes so far in 2022.
What percentage of that is slutty ass?
Probably like 80% of it.
80% of adults
Yeah.
over the age of 13.
10.6 billion projected Halloween spending in 2022.
Is that for U.S. alone, or is that
Yeah,
does it
it's for the
it's
US.
celebrated in other countries too, right?
It is.
I know it's in Germany, I believe.
Yeah.
It's called something else.
The word witch comes from an Old English wick, which means wise woman. The world's heaviest jack-o'-lantern weighed 2,350 pounds. In Ireland,
Holy fuck.
where Halloween originated, I didn't know it originated in Ireland. That's news
That's
to
weird.
me. People celebrated by setting off fireworks.
That's dope.
I prefer that version better.
Yeah.
Americans spend more than $100 per person on Halloween. Interesting. I mean, I guess that makes sense. You're buying pumpkins and candy and costumes and shit,
Yeah.
having parties.
I was thinking with the fireworks thing, I was like, that'd be like we should do that with every fucking holiday. Also, holidays are weird. Like the fact you celebrate the same time
Yeah.
each year. I mean, there's ones that float around like the fourth Thursday and like whatever. But like holidays are just weird that we celebrate. Like, I don't know. Christmas is cool. Thanksgiving's cool. You eat a bunch of food and stuff, but it's like, I don't understand them.
So back in the day, we
Ceremony.
had this. I'm going to tell you a Halloween story. Back in the day, we had a Halloween party at one of my buddy's houses, okay? And it was all our friends groups got together and we went to this party. We're all dressed up. I was like in this Greek armor, like legit Greek armor. It was metal.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I had a horsehair thing on the top of my helmet. Everything. It was
Before the
fucking
movie
badass, right?
300.
Oh, it was probably around the same time. And it was fucking cool looking though.
Yeah, yeah.
I had a buddy there that was a cop. It was Matt. You know
Okay.
him. He wasn't a cop at the time, but he
Yeah.
dressed up as a cop, right?
Yeah.
So he was a cop for Halloween, and it was like a kid's cop costume, so he looked really funny in it. He's a big dude.
Yeah, yeah.
So there ended up being some underage people that showed up to this party out of nowhere. So he and I ended up walking over to him, and he asked for their ID in that fucking cop's uniform. Is fucking hilarious.
In a little kid's cop
Yeah,
out?
and they actually showed their ID, and we had to kick them out. So we got rid of these younger people because it was, there's alcohol there. And I had my roommate at the time was also at the party, and he was the only black guy at the party, which is funny in itself,
Yeah, yeah.
right? And he's dressed in this muscle suit, right? And he's trying to be like a
It's one of those shitty, like, puffed out ones.
yeah,
like it's
but
a-
it almost looked homemade because it
Yeah,
was so
yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
And then he had like a headband with some hair sticking out the top, like it's a white dude's hair,
Yeah.
but he's black. So he was just like this, that Jersey Shore type
Okay.
thing going on, right? But he's black, so it looked really
Yeah,
funny.
yeah.
And he ended up getting in a fight while we were there with somebody else, and we broke it up. Everybody calmed down, but we couldn't find him after that. We're like, where did he go? Couldn't find him. So I end up driving home, and I unlocked the back door to my house because we used to go in through the back. It was a slider where we parked our cars. And I go inside, close the door, lock it. I'm like, maybe he's upstairs sleeping already. And then I'm about to go up the stairs, and I hear this noise in the kitchen. I'm like, what the fuck? And I go in there, and I almost get into fight mode and destroy this thing that's climbing through the window. And he's just knocking shit off the counters. He had actually climbed through the window because he forgot his key.
Yeah.
The motherfucker walked home. It was like 6 miles.
Wow. Yeah.
So he gets back, and he's climbing through the window. I still talk to him about it. Like every Halloween, I bring this shit up to him.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
super funny, but it's just a good story. He walked all the way home after a fight in his muscle suit down the streets of Lacey.
Yeah, yeah. Just do. All right, people. That was a fun episode, Halloween based, and some other shit too. Positively weird,
Birds
unique,
and bats.
birds, bats, and now Mega Cosmic Adventure. Go check out www.megacosmicadventure.com and find Mega Cosmic Adventure with the @ sign. So at Mega Cosmic Adventure on Instagram and Facebook. And check out our new project. I had to push it on the actual Violent Professional podcast as a preview because nobody's fucking seeing it. So I had to push it out.
If you haven't listened to it, do it. It's very interesting. It's all improv. We just bring it up and we talk off the top of our heads in character. So it's Mike goes back and edits sound effects and stuff into it, but really everything is just off the top of the dome. So it's really just developing a story on the fly, which is very unique to have the sound effects and the environment along with it. So it's really cool.
Yep.
It's a good time.
Chapter 2 is dropping on November 3rd. Is it November next month? Yeah, November 3rd. Can't remember. I think it's a Thursday. That's when I was going to
Sounds like
say.
a Thursday.
Thursday. So if you want to check it out, Mega Cosmic Adventure, and hear this awesome project, we got 5 episodes and more to come as soon as. And this might be if there's not like enough people looking at it, I'm just gonna be like, fuck this whole thing. You know what I mean? You know, it's still fun and super awesome. So it's I'm proud of it for what we've all done. But
well, hopefully it gets some traction.
Yeah.
If you haven't listened, fucking try it out.
Yeah.
Listen
Anyway.
to the first few at least, so you get the gist of it.
Yeah. Hell yeah. All right. Thanks for being on the episode again.
Hell yeah, anytime. Good luck.
You still know how to do it.